Hey, what's up, Miles? Bib?
Movie star, the
How you doing,
Shades.
buddy?
Doing awesome. How are you?
Man, I
Had a
tell
busy
you,
couple
it's been
days.
I'm very busy couple days. I was wearing the glasses, so people can't see the bags under my eyes. We've been going at it hard, creating all kinds of content. I mean, 3 times a day, 3, 4 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, what a great week I've been having. I'm not complaining. It's been a great time.
Yeah. So where are you from now? You're on location from a parking lot somewhere. It looks like.
I am on location in my Silverado in Greenwich, Connecticut. Connecticut.
Nice.
Does my
Nice.
sound okay? Because I am mobile.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, we'll let people tell us in the comments if they can't hear you, but it works for me.
Yeah. Well, I love it, everybody. All right. So thanks for watching. Listen, we are live in 3 locations, as you know, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And if we also are live, I can't even speak today, man. I'm pulling over side of the road. But listen, go to our YouTube channel right now. Please subscribe to our channel. That's where you can find all the latest and greatest videos, everything we've done this past week on location, from the office, from the truck, traveling all over the country doing stuff like this. So, Miles, I mean, I know you got some topics for today. You wanted to start spotlighting what I've been doing. Miles goes, "You've really never been in the hot seat yet, Dave."
That's right. You pulled my videos up last week, so now we could do a little bit to you. But yeah, I
That's
mean
all right. Go for it.
the show's called Increasing Influence, right? And so we've talked about the way other people do it, but
Yeah.
you've been going live 6 days a week for 6+ months. You're like you said, you're driving all over the country, doing it on location from, the building sets like you were just at. So I thought it was a fitting time, since you're pulled over on the side of the road in the middle of it, to break down what did just happen this week and how you've seen your influence increase through all the stuff that you've been doing.
Yeah, sure. We can talk about all the above. Where would you like to start?
Let's just start in general, right? We know everyone knows that where you just were, but just going back to live, right? You
Yeah.
decided for some reason, yeah, you like to punish yourself that you're going to go live 6 days a week for a whole year, and you're halfway there. So where do you see yourself? Where are you now versus where you were on day one when you started? How has it been going?
Yeah, so we did. So I mean, we'll start back from the beginning. I've been doing videos for quite a while. Most of it was all pre-recorded, in Facebook Live when I was doing modular home minutes, right? Um, but when we got back from World of Modular and COVID really took full swing, like a week later, I kind of said, all right, well, what are we going to do here? And that's kind of when we said, Jennifer and I kind of made the commitment, saying, well, this is a great opportunity for us to really showcase what's happening in the industry, because everybody's home. Everybody's looking for, one, some entertainment value, two, also looking to, uh, educational purposes, to understand what's really happening.
Right.
So for us, we saw it as an opportunity to connect with more people, to talk about what we're so passionate about, offsite construction, IC, and really drive the message forward. We had to reinvent ourselves. We're not at trade shows interviewing people, so we had to come up with the next best thing, and that was LinkedIn Live and Zoom calls.
Sure. And so now you've been doing it for 6 months, 6 days a week. What have the initial results been? Profile views skyrocketing, your inbox is out of control for email. You're going and doing fun stuff like you were just at, but how'd you summarize it? Where's it at?
Yeah, well, absolutely. It's all about content, Miles. I mean, we've been preaching that even before this, and the whole Gary Vee approach as well. Doing one little post a week is not gonna increase your influence in social media, especially right now. Everybody's on social media. Everybody's trying to reach in everybody else's pocket,
Right.
marketing wise, and all this. So when you ask how it really affected what we're doing, yeah, I mean it's 100 times growth. I mean it's absolutely amazing, and we find the more content that we do, the more growth that we have. We're just putting it out there, and we're also finding the way we're doing it has become very valuable. Live, unedited, really just telling the real story with the real people, a lot of whom which tune into our show quite a bit. We've talked about them. And I think that's really where, for us, we're just lucky enough. It's just something that we're passionate about and something that we feel comfortable doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That feel comfortable doing thing. You said those modular home minutes. I know you did that for years, pre-recorded. That had to have paved the way for you to feel comfortable. Just the camera goes on and there you are pointing, saying, "Hey, welcome." And you nail it every time. So many people aren't comfortable. And so you've built up that skill over time for sure.
Yeah, my first video with the modular home minute, I paced back and forth for probably 2 hours before I hit that Facebook Live. Like literally just sweating. I didn't want anybody around. I was in the basement making sure the plumbers were gone. It was just, maybe I was embarrassed or insecure. Probably insecure. Everybody has some insecurities, I guess. But yeah, but you know what? I did it and I just kept doing it. And then after a while, I realized people don't really give a crap what I'm doing, whether I know them or not. And we just do it now.
Right. And now so many people don't do it because they're crippled by that. They're worried what other people are going to think. And so they never take the actual step. Right. So now doing it live, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. It's real life. It's reality TV with Dave Cooper, right? Coming to you on LinkedIn. And that's just a great way you don't have to think. You just do, which is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, so when we say that, like these live shows, people are tuning in this last week. There's a ton of prep into doing those types of shows. And any of our shows, you wanna know who you're talking to. We're interviewing people all the time, right?
Right.
But to answer your question though, yeah, I can flip on the screen at any moment and go live now. So the stress isn't there. So I can actually focus on who I'm speaking with and what we're there for and what the purpose is that we want to bring to our audience, more so than being nervous about what people are going to think of me. And once you get past that internal nervousness, it just helps you perform better because you don't get all stressed out over the little stuff, right? It's live. It's live, and I always say shit's gonna go wrong. It's just the way it is. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about technology and internet services and all of this stuff. And this past week was no different. There wasn't a single live show where there wasn't something in the background where I'm going, really? Will it ever just be smooth?
I know. I was holding my breath as they were setting modules, just like, this is live. I so hope they don't hit any hiccups and it goes down smoothly because it's captured and forever now. It's when you watch it back. So yeah, it's great view.
Yeah, well, you've been in the modular world for a while, and it was just kind of funny. I had David, my video guy, with me. Young guy. He's never been up that high. We had to go up in a big pick lift. And it swings you over to that top, and we climb out into that top module, and you're up there a good 50 feet or more, whatever it was. And, when the box swings in and actually just touches the other module, it shakes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the camera go, but he reached back and grabbed. He's like,
that's funny.
Yeah. Then they started lowering it, not dropping it into place. We were lowering it into place.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So sure. You mentioned all this content you've created, and I think that's a good topic too, because people are either paralyzed by, oh no, I have to create it. Like, what am I going to say? That pacing moment that you had back when you first started, or all the prep work you have to do now, even though it's live, you still, like you said, have to know who you're talking to, what you're going to talk about, show up intelligently, even though you're not scripting out everything you're saying. They get paralyzed by that front end stuff. And then you can get paralyzed by, okay, great, I did it. I've been going live for 6 days a week for 6 months. Now I've got, hundreds of pieces of content spread out over all these platforms. How do I organize it? How do I go back and pull it up? How do I take an hour interview and turn it into 61-minute pieces that I can use, scheduling out the social media? Like, the whole machine that becomes the content business can just make people's heads explode. So how do you deal with that and not let that get in your way?
Yeah, we don't deal with it very well.
I don't either.
There's just so much content. So my earbuds falling out. It's a micro content of the content you're creating is a very, very big thing. And I wish I could do micro content on everything we do, and also organizing that content so you have the data to go back in time and look something up, right? Hey, you remember that, interview we did with Miles, or I saw Joel logged into there, the one we did with Splash Modular, right? So, with that said, I wish I would have started when I first started doing all of this, cataloging more accurately. I have the names and the dates, but what about the topics?
Right.
What were the special moments where somebody really said something that was that 15-second, 30-second aha? That's powerful, right? Um, so we're going back in time and trying to review all the original videos we originally did and starting to parcel that out. And we have some help with that now. So it's not just Jennifer and I trying to pull all this together. There's just too much content and too much going on with what we're doing. But, now moving forward, a pro tip is when you're doing these interviews or we're doing these live feeds, write down the timestamp when somebody said something really good. If you do that 3 times in your hour-long session or a half-hour-long session, you've already marked 3 areas where you can go right away and just make a clip of what they said and repost it and link it back to wherever your video was.
Yeah, like you said, you have help now. I think so much of that's the key. A lot of people think they have to do everything. And when you start, you do, unless you have, extra capital that you can spare personally to fund a business side of a content machine.
That's right.
But yeah, if you at least save it with some of the naming conventions, right? Here's who I talked to. Here's what we talked about. If you even remember, at some point they said this little nugget, you could put all that into the title. And then when you do grow to a point, you can have somebody go back, an intern or whatever, and organize it, pull it, chop it up. And then it's even cool where you see a lot of people do this. Like, look, here's something I said 3 years ago. And isn't that so relevant still today? Like, I've been right, and you can kind of prove yourself being right. But it also shows, going back to influence, that you didn't just start yesterday. Like, there's this time capsule moment that you can look and say, look, I've been doing this for years. And you just up your authority level by doing that, by revisiting stuff you did before.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, that's really the key in all this is the data that you collect over time can be used in so many different ways. So like you're talking about, where you can go back in time capsule. You can build your ego up and say, see, I told you, or it's just, history, right? You're documenting what's going on. Like, for our instance, we're really documenting the disruption. If you look at it on a big scale, we're documenting in some ways the disruption that's happening. And we're talking about it with all these new innovative people and products that are coming onto the market.
Yeah. So is that a teaser in 5 years from now? It's, disrupting the housing industry, coming to Netflix from Dave Cooper Live.
History Channel, right? Maybe the History.
But you're right. It could be, it could be a documentary with, interviews after the fact, reflecting on it, looking at clips, or you could write a book. I mean, there's so many different things that you could take and repurpose it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, listen, we got a couple people. Why don't we say hi to a few people, Miles?
Let's do it.
We got Mr. George Ryman. Good morning from Phoenix, Arizona. My hat's off to you, George. Good to see you today. Joel Hudson. Yeah, Hutch. So he's asking if I had a late night with Vaughn Buckley and team. No. Vaughn and team went home, but I was out a little bit later than I like to be with some other people. Always calling me out. What's the matter with that guy? Let's see. Hey, what's happening, Brett? Good to see you. You are a resource. People respond to that. Thank you. That really means a ton. Andrew Seeley, Brent Musson said bullseye on that one. And Joe Hutchins, I knew he'd agree with that. Data. I love it. We should almost do a poem called Data.
There you go.
Or a rap song. We'll do a rap song with what's his name on Data Collection.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, with Alex.
Alex Sheridan. So, yeah. So, for everybody watching and listening, I think the biggest thing is content. There's a couple people on here that are really good at doing content that we're seeing in the comment section and what have you. But the reality of it is putting quality content out. It takes thought. It takes some effort for sure, but when you like what you do and you're passionate about it, it's really, for me, it's not a lot of work. It's tiring being on all the time, but we get to meet the greatest people in the industry, man. I mean, it's cool, right?
Yeah. Well, and be a part of, like you said, the disruption, but history. That was the first modular building in Washington, D.C. And you had the behind the scenes access. So like, that's a moment in time that is captured now through your channel. And that's an awesome thing. I mean,
wasn't that cool?
But yeah, that's a feather in your cap. Absolutely.
I had no idea. So I didn't go into that knowing that. That was just, that was the luck of just, hard work and always working. And, sometimes luck is being in the right place at the right time, but that usually means because you're working your butt off. And, but yeah, that was the first modular set ever, multifamily, in Washington, D.C. So that was really cool. And we got to bring it live, so
Yeah.
who knows, maybe that comes up in the future somewhere, but that was a really cool thing.
That was cool. So what's next? 6 more months of live 6 days a week, and then you're going to disappear from the internet. We won't see or hear from you for a good month, or where do you anticipate things going?
Yeah, no, you know what? The 6 months, we got 6 more months to go. And then I'm sure it's going to be such a habit for me after 6 months, I probably won't be able to stop. So you might as well just get used to my face. But yeah, I think if we keep growing the industry and we can keep helping people connect with each other, there's so much business happens behind the scenes with what we're doing. And, there's a lot of value in that. Now, for us, with the educational institutions and all these things out there, that the knowledge and what we're sharing with everybody and the amount of work that's happening behind the scenes and the amount of business that's happening behind the scenes, I think is such a powerful tool. And our biggest question and everybody's going, well, how do you monetize it? Well, how do you make business? How do you pay your bills and stuff like that? And that's a tricky part in this industry, as you know.
Yeah.
But for us, we're talking to a bunch of universities and schools. So it stays that editorial and resourceful, content that goes out. But we also have sponsors too, but the sponsors have no access to picking who or what's on the show. So it's a lot, but it's good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah. And I forget what you said that made me trigger this, but to me, it's the idea that the content, right, becomes the conversation starter. And then from those conversations, something can be monetized, right? So I think a lot of people are short-sighted, and it's like, how do I make money off this video right here that we're doing?
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Probably not, right? Unless you have a sponsor. And even then, it's not really going to make the bulk of your money. But you make this video, people get to see you, know you, hear you, understand what you're talking about. They like you. They see the network in the comments. They realize, ooh, this almost like a movement here. This guy has people with him. I want to talk to him. They talk to you. They find out even more. You can help them. Now you can monetize coaching, consulting, all sorts of things over just an ad, right? So
yeah. Well, there is all of that. Now all that opportunity comes, but people have to know who you are, and you have to know your stuff, right? I've been doing this a long time, not just video, but offsite construction.
Right.
So, it comes natural to me, but I have my 10,000 hours in this. But what I don't have my 10,000 hours in is the new stuff that's coming on. And most people don't. And I think that's what's so exciting about talking about what we're doing, right? Because modular, great, good old sawdust factory. Well, that's going away. Now it's becoming more high tech, and it's where it needs to be going. And I think that's what's so fun about what we do. And like you were saying, you're not going to become a coach, a consultant, or any of these things without having experience. People will see through it after 5 calls, right? So,
yeah.
And I always say, wear your heart in your sleeve, man. I know we speak all the time. I've spoken to a bunch of people on this show. I mean, it is, you get what you get. This is what it is. We have fun talking about things, and I don't know. It's all about relationships and having fun, Miles.
Yeah, I think it holds you accountable too, right? This idea that you said you don't know a lot about what's new coming on. I can guarantee you know more right now about what's new coming on because you've been creating content than if you were just sitting back and watching the content that somebody else created, right? You're forced, if you know you're going to be live and talk to people, so you have to know your stuff, and it forces you to level up in a way you wouldn't if you were just passively consuming something. So I think that's a great point with content. What people don't think of when like increasing their influence, they think of it as like one more thing they have to do. But I've found in what I do, it's the best way to actually learn something is to take an active role in it and not just reading a book or listening to somebody else, is being the person learning on camera, and other people are going to learn from your learning, as weird as that sounds, but it's true.
It is true. And when I say I don't know, about the next products, I don't have a clue how to run a 3D manufacturing plant, right? 3D printing,
Right.
you know. But what I do have, that I've been really fortunate enough is being on the front and center of the camera all the time, is the access to talk about all these things, right? So yeah, I have in my mind it's just full. I can't talk to somebody without going, oh, you should talk to so and so, and you should talk to so and so. It's just full of information of new things that are happening, and I think that's the fun part for me, because it's not just what I used to do. Now we're taking it way further, and that's the learning side of it. So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you pull up this comment from Brent Musson here, he said that content is important, but creating community is at least as big a deal. And that's it, right? Like, all these people, and pretty soon, just like there's 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, there's going to be 6 degrees of Dave Cooper, where you're going to be able to connect you to all these people and to everybody. And then people interacting with you, you become that portal to all these people. And that's more valuable than any single piece of content, but you got there by creating all the content.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'll tell you kind of an ego moment for me this week. And I say ego just because it's it just caught me off guard. We were down in the site, and there's some young guy walked up, and I guess he knew some of the people there, but I had no idea who this person is, and I took my mask off because we were in a secure area, and he just goes, "Hey, you're that guy." It happened to me when I was doing the Modular Minute. You're the guy. I watch all your stuff, Dave. And I was like, Cooper, man. It was cool. So it was kind of fun. Yeah. And I'm like, why don't you comment? Why don't you like? Why don't you let me know you're there? Because I'll help you grow your influence just like everybody else. I will put your name out there, and hopefully people connect with you,
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, you're famous.
I don't know about
that guy on LinkedIn. But it's true. Like you said, why don't you comment? There's so many, I get similar things, not in public, because I haven't really been in public, but people will message, or like I'm talking to somebody that's in my family or friends, or it's an acquaintance will text me. Like literally I had somebody from high school reach out the other day that I hadn't talked to in forever, but we're connected on LinkedIn. And they're like, hey, I've been watching every single blah, 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 what you've been doing. Or I've listened to every single podcast. And same thing. It's like, come on, leave the guy a comment, like it, share, right? But so there's just a lot of people too, influence, right? You get caught up in those vanity metrics of the likes and the numbers and the shares. And it's easy to get discouraged if it's not where you want it to be. But those don't tell the whole story. And what you just said is the perfect example of that, right? That people know you. They're watching, whether or not the algorithms tell you that they are. It's making an impact somewhere.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And that's interesting. We look at the stats on, like our YouTube channel and everything, and we're not Casey Neistat. We don't have 5-10 million viewers, but we have viewership, like minutes watched, that's bigger than a lot of people that have 1 million followers. And it's a weird thing, but our audience is, it's not, it's the audience is higher level, education people, business people for the most part. They're not really there to put their name out. They want to watch, they want to learn, they want to see what the market's doing. It's a little bit different. So you got to look at it a little bit differently. So you can't fall in love with subscribership, but you do need to watch the data.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man. You've been doing a lot of video though. I mean, come on, how's it going?
It's going good. It's fun. Like you, it's like I probably can't stop now. Like I didn't lay out and say I'm going to do it for a specific period of time. I was just like, let's keep doing it until I run out of stuff to say. Right? Let's just see what happens. And it's just been fun. It's forcing me to continue to have something to say. Right? I'm always thinking. And then I'll say, oh, that could be a video or this, right? Or I hear from somebody else and it just does it. And it keeps my mind actively engaged. And so that I show up more powerfully in other areas too, that I'm not videotaping, but it's like working out a muscle, like anything, right? It has some other effects. So, but it's fun. I enjoy it. There
is that. You have those days where you're just like, man, what am I going to talk about today? Sometimes you just draw a blank. You're like, what haven't I talked about? I don't know, but it always seems to come around. I think on this show that we do, Increasing Influence, it is a little bit repetitive, right? But that's the whole nature of this. It's not hard. It's not some secret sauce on how to grow what you're doing. It's just a matter of doing it. And I think that's why we're always kind of touting these things, and I appreciate you bringing up my live, my busy week this week, but and next week's busy too. Ah, I got the
Wait,
whole building systems
oh,
week
that's
next
right.
week.
Yeah, yeah.
And see, so that's all Zoom for the members. Then I'm going live as well at the 1 o'clock shows. So, but that's what it's about, right? Not everybody's doing it full time like I'm doing it full time or you're doing it full time. But it's those little bits and pieces like you're doing on your walk.
Yeah.
You've picked up a lot of viewers just by doing that.
Yeah, and it's just, book recommendation for anybody watching this. Atomic Habits is what the book's called. And so I love that book, and it's helped me like architect my day to do everything that I'm juggling. But it's a principle from that book with habit stacking, so that if you want to incorporate a new habit, for me, it was video. You sandwich it against the habit you already do every day, because I know I have to walk the dog every morning. And so instead of trying to create a whole nother area in my day where I'm going to do something, I habit stacked walking my dog and making videos. And so I just combine the two. And while I'm walking the dog, I'm making a video, and you can get multiple things done. Just like people that say they can't read a book because they don't have time, but you could listen to an audiobook while you're in the gym, while you're driving, and you can still find a way to make it happen. So yeah, everybody go read Atomic Habits. And like, I don't know if you've ever read it, Dave, but you employ so many of the principles without even realizing it. You probably love it. And I'm sure if anybody's interested in content and brand building and scheduling and all the crazy things it takes to juggle it, right, then that's a good resource for everybody.
Scheduling. Oof.
Yeah, I'm sure your schedule was, if you saw your Outlook calendar or Gmail calendar for the past couple of days, it would just be blue block after blue block filled in.
Yeah, it gets tough, and sometimes you miss a meeting and this and that because things run over, and every day seems like I'm adjusting my Calendly page to give myself more time because you get consumed. I mean, even with the social media, LinkedIn, all the messages, all the stuff that happens on there, which is what you want. It's fabulous, but it gets consuming, and it's you go a day without checking it. For me personally, I'll have 40 or 50 inboxes, people asking me or messaging me or wanting to talk that you got, and you got to respond to them all. At least that's what I do. I try to. I may miss some here and there. LinkedIn's not the best. If you look at something and say, "Oh, I'll answer it in a little bit," and you go back and it's not highlighted anymore, but you got another 20 in front of it, right. All of a sudden you're like, dang it, you miss something every once in a while. But I mean, that's part of it. That's you don't want the opposite happening, and that's how the community's built. By talking to all these people. The show is great. But man, having conversations offline like I've had with Dr. Brett Musson and George and some of these others, I mean that's really where the value comes in, and it's fun to really get to know people and help them where we can.
Yeah, well, right, and that's how you continue to be invited places, right? When you do help people and you bring value, and you're not just reaching into their pockets like you said earlier, right? Like what horrible marketers are doing, right? Reaching into everybody's pockets. So that makes a lot of sense.
Sure. All right, what do I see? You got some. I'm looking.
Jerry's comment there. He's that sounds like a story for Jerry McCaughey where he's formulating his posts in that comment.
You wouldn't believe the places I formulate my posts. Well, you know what? Funny. I know exactly what you're saying. I was thinking of one in the Porta-John at the job site the other day, Jerry, but I wasn't doing it. I love it. Brent Musson, NPR in the background while I work till your alert comes up. I switch. Same in the car. Come on, dude. I love it, man. Thanks.
Look at that. That's an ego moment. You trump NPR. That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah. So Jennifer, habit stacking makes all things easier. It does. I have to say. When you have the time to do it, for sure. And here's the other thing, and I know what you're going to say, Miles. You have to make the time to do it.
That's right. It's amazing what you have the time for. It's just when you look at what you are spending your time doing, part of habit stacking is like habit slashing, right? Getting rid of the stuff that is not furthering what you really want to accomplish.
Right.
then replacing it with something else that's going to get you towards your goal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. I'm I'm excited for everything that's happening for not just myself but everybody in the community. You know, there's just so much happening, and it's such a wonderful thing to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, what's next for you, Miles? I have it across the bottom. Have you finalized the time for your
No,
September 24th at 8 p.m.?
I was actually just reading that. I was like, man, I got to get back with Justin on that one. No. And I think as I've seen some of his posts, I think that might be a private event, not open to the public, but I'll confirm that and then let you know. But I'm looking forward to that.
I mean,
it's going to be fun.
He should send our entire community a link to the private event.
There you go. Open it up. It actually would. I mean, it's college students, right? So this community, they would benefit so much from all the established people that are here.
Yeah. Hey, you want to know what was really cool? Talking about that on the site, you know, man, so many young people working.
That's great.
People doing interns and, you know, you got full-time positions out of it. We had, you know, project manager, 18 years. I mean, he's not that young anymore. He's in his 30s or whatever, but never had any other job but an off-site, you know, and working hard. So there was a lot of young people really, really working. Even one of the young guys on the set crew had a hard hat, looked like a cowboy hat. It was actually really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Running around in downtown Washington, D.C. with a cowboy hat on. That's like being in New York City and seeing the naked cowboy in Times Square or whatever.
That's a content opportunity. The construction cowboy. Like he's got to get all over that. Yeah.
I know. Well, you know what? You say that, but I didn't even cross my mind.
I'm bad at that. I'm trying to get everybody to create content. So I always say to somebody, you should do that. That's a podcast. That's a video. People are tired of hearing me say that, but I just believe everybody has a story to tell, a perspective to share. And that's what's fun about content is that no two content creators or perspectives are the same. And so it's fun to see everybody's take on everything.
Somebody's going to yell at me for my plastic bottle right now, but dude, I was dying. I had nothing to drink on the way home. So absolutely. I think everything is really moving at light speed. And I think that content creation is only going to get harder and harder moving forward. And when I say that, there's just going to be more and more people in it. You know, this is now the land grab of social media, internet, right? And the best time to get into creating content and branding your business, branding yourself. And I truly see it happening all over the place, man. It's as simple as who in the world picks up a phone book anymore? Nobody. Everybody goes to either Facebook, YouTube, or Googles it.
Yep.
Period. And that's where all of this is heading. And I know for me personally, we really, for us, we do nothing but, you know, search things on YouTube. Like I want to fix my kid's toy.
Oh yeah.
I want to learn how to build a modular house. YouTube, you know, whatever. So I hope people jump into it.
Yeah. On that last one, I think there's a whole YouTube playlist about building modular, isn't it?
There is. Jennifer Cooper. I don't know who she is, but she's up and coming, man. She knows her stuff.
She knows her stuff, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Miles. Well, listen, my son is waiting for me to come home. I've been gone 4 days. I'm gonna head up the road here, I think, and ask us any question. Oh, I saw something come in. Jerry said, offsite is the way of the future in terms of recruiting millennials. They can't relate last century's techniques. Bravo. I agree 100 and 110%. So, what else, Miles? Did I answer all your questions today?
Yeah, you did. Thanks for humoring me and put yourself. Normally you're the host, right? You're kind of the guest this time, so I know it can be hard to switch roles. So I appreciate you sharing. I was just watching as a friend of yours and a fan of yours while you're on location this week. It was fun to see it all and see all the comments and all the success of that activity for you. And so I just wanted to capture it while it was fresh for you. So I appreciate it.
No, I think it was wonderful. And quite honestly, I've done so much content over the last few days that, you know, being the one not asking the questions it feels kind of good. I have to say it's nice to have a break.
That's good. Good.
Oh. All right, Miles, listen, you got to tune in tomorrow. We got BS Friday tomorrow at 1 o'clock with Mark Bare Naked Willie. So we'll be right back on the Asking Questions train tomorrow. And then listen, if you have not signed up for Building Systems Week, you better. The NAHB Building Systems Week, 21st to the 25th. Registration is free. Also, IBS registration opened up. Register. I'm going to be there. I'm going to IBS. I know Miles is going to attend IBS if it's open. I hope you better. And, we're emceeing everything next week, the NAHB. And I have to tell you, everyone, I'm looking for your support. Join us. Be members of these organizations. They're great organizations. They do a lot for us, even it may not feel like it. But we have a chance to really be a bigger part of the NAHB and everything we're doing in offsite. And we're going to be in there emceeing, and we're going to be talking about offsite all week next week. So I think everybody should join.
Absolutely. I'll be there. I got my ticket already.
Awesome. All right, Miles, you have yourself a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the other side.
All right. See you, everybody.
We'll see everybody. Bye now. Thanks for tuning in.